So yesterday with the free picks, I cashed in with the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA, and then in college basketball, I went into great detail about a game that I thought was very interesting that I came across yesterday, Iowa State and Oklahoma State. And I told you the Cowboys of Oklahoma State, not a team that I had really followed this season since early in the non-conference portion of their schedule, and the Big 12, not one of my favorite conferences. But after looking at those two teams, Iowa State and Oklahoma State, I thought that those two teams were pretty evenly matched, and I told you to go ahead and grab the 3 points with Oklahoma State. And of course, what happens? The game finishes right there with Iowa State winning by 3. Well, I think you have another one of those situations tonight, and that's one of the two free picks I'm going to talk about. And that game is the Atlantic 10 showdown between Dayton and Virginia Commonwealth. Now, if you were to look at the statistics for these two teams, you're going to find when it comes to their points per game given up, their points per game that they score, their percentage field goal defense and field goal offense, their shooting percentages from the free throw line, just about everything down the line, these two teams are remarkably similar. Now, the one advantage Virginia Commonwealth has, however, is that they're a bigger team and they're a much better team when it comes to rebounding. And it paid off when these two met on the road earlier this season. And I remember it was a Friday night game. I happened to be watching that game. It was a close game until early in the second half. But then VCU used its superior size and took control and actually ended up with a 17 rebound advantage in that contest, 41-24, 18-8 on the offensive glass, 26-8. They outscored Dayton in second chance points. Now, Virginia Commonwealth was a 5-point favorite that night. They managed to open up an 11-point lead, but because of some missed opportunities, missed free throws at the end, amazingly, Dayton came back and snuck off with the backdoor push in what turned out to be a 73-68 loss. So tonight we have the rematch. And at one point, it seemed like this was going to be a game for all the marbles in the Atlantic 10. But then something happened, and that something was this. Virginia Commonwealth went to Rhode Island a couple of nights ago, and a battle of the Rams, well, it was the Rhode Island Rams that emerged victorious. So now, tonight, you'll have a Dayton team that's 14-2 taking on a Virginia Commonwealth team that is 13-3. And for the fourth straight meeting between these two teams over the past couple of years, you have either first place in the conference or the conference tournament title, postseason tournament title, at stake when these two teams meet. Now, that loss by Virginia Commonwealth at Rhode Island the other night, really a shocker, 69-59. In that game, ironically, it was the VCU Rams that were out-rebounded, 48-31. And they shot miserably from the field, only 35%. Even worse, from downtown, three-point land, 1 for 15 in that contest. They were also whistled for 30 fouls. There are only 49 teams that have been whistled for more fouls in Division 1A ball. There's 343 of them, and only 49 more teams have been whistled for more fouls than Virginia Commonwealth. Now, that may come into play here tonight because naturally, when you're playing at home, you're going to get the benefit of more officials' whistles, right? Well, you've got a Dayton team that on the year is shooting 69.5% from the free throw line. Nothing to write home about, okay? But during their current winning streak, which has coincided with that loss at Virginia Commonwealth, the Flyers are shooting almost 74% from the line. And when you look at the closeness of these two teams, when you break them down statistically, and when you look historically at the closeness of the series and the way these games have played out over the past couple of years, again, the free throw line may be the deciding factor. Anyway, when Virginia Commonwealth lost that game at Rhode Island a couple of nights ago, that snapped their 9-game winning streak. Meanwhile, the Flyers have won 8 in a row, 11 of their last 12. The lone loss in that stretch was against Virginia Commonwealth. I think that it helps that Dayton is coming back home after an 89-82 overtime win at Davidson on Friday, while you have Virginia Commonwealth with one less day to prepare and playing for a second time on the road since they lost to Rhode Island on Saturday. Again, it would not surprise me to see this game go right down to the wire, but I do like this time the home favorite, Dayton, minus the points in revenge. Now remember, Dayton clinches the Atlantic 10 title, regular season title, with a win. Virginia Commonwealth wins tonight. He creates a tie, but the tiebreaker goes to VCU because they would sweep the season series. So it's for all the marbles. Dayton's got to win it. I think they do. But again, they're going to cover maybe by a point because I think that's how close this game was going to be here tonight. Your other complimentary play tonight, let's take a look. I'm going to go with Notre Dame. It's a big number, minus 15.5 points here at home tonight against Boston College. Boston College team that allowed Virginia Tech to score for the Hokies a conference high 91 points on the season. They shot over 54% in the second half of last Saturday's win at BC, 91-75. Prior game to that, Boston College lost at Florida State in Tallahassee, 104-72. So that's 91 and 104 points in their last two games they've allowed. And the game prior to those two, it was Valentine's Day at home against Notre Dame, and they lost that one 84-76. In all, Boston College has lost 12 straight games. They've allowed at least 83 points in 7 of their last 8 games. Now, on the season, they are ranked 296th in the country in terms of points allowed per game, giving up about 78. They're 299th ranked in the country in terms of field goal defense, as opponents are hitting almost 47% of their shots. That's the worst mark in the ACC as well. And they're a poor free throw shooting team, a little under 68% on the season. Irish not scoring at the rate that they were early in the season, but still averaging about 79 points a game, coming off a hard-fought revenge win at home against a tricky Georgia Tech team with that 2-3 zone that they love to play. So that 64-60 win against Georgia Tech for the Irish this past Saturday in South Bend. Listen, it doesn't look impressive on paper, but it was impressive. It was a revenge win because they blew a lead, played miserably in Atlanta when they met back in January and lost on a buzzer beater. So they got revenge. This is their home finale. They've won 5 straight games. They're tied with Louisville for second place in the ACC. They play at the Yum Center in Louisville against Rick Pitino's Cardinals on Saturday. Notre Dame 15-2 straight up in South Bend this season. Boston College 0-7 in true road games. Took my wife cross country many years ago actually. We're driving cross country. I love stopping at college campuses. That's one of my thrills. I like stopping in college campuses and seeing, different colleges because, as a sports reporter in years past and as a handicapper, talk about all these football stadiums and basketball arenas and stuff. I like to see the stadiums. So we're touring through South Bend, cute little town, typical small town with a big university in the middle of it. We're going by the stadium. You see Touchdown Jesus. We see the cathedral and stuff. And my wife says, do you have to be Catholic to go here? I said, no, you just have to be a good football player. Bum, bum, bum. It's the truth, right? Of course, I think at the time Notre Dame was struggling on the field. But anyway, I'm going to go with Notre Dame minus the points there, and I'm also going to go with Dayton. So those are your 2 free selections today. And guys, I wish you well, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we will do this one more time.